Mystery of the Gothic City. Emily has always been fascinated by the Gothic era, so when she heard about an ancient city that has been preserved to the present time, she knew she had to see it for herself. She arrived in the early afternoon. As she walked through the town's narrow, winding streets, she felt a sense of unease. The air was thick with an ominous haze, and the ancient buildings loomed over her like silent sentinels. Emily had the feeling that she was being watched, and the hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. She quickened her pace, hoping to get to the hotel soon. On the way to the hotel, she heard the sound of footsteps behind her. Emily turned around, but there was no one to be seen. She decided to ignore it and continue on her way. Upon arriving at the hotel, Emily was relieved to see the warm light pouring from the windows. She hurried inside, eager to escape the chill that had begun to grip the city during the misty late afternoon. When she approached the front desk, the receptionist gave her a strange look. "Are you sure you want to stay here, miss?" asked the receptionist. Emily was taken aback. "What do you mean?" she asked. "This is not a town for outsiders," the receptionist said, in a low voice. "Eerie things happen here at night." Emily laughed nervously. "I'm sure it's just a story to arouse the curiosity of tourists," she said, to close the conversation. The evening was approaching, and Emily began to second-guess herself about the warnings uttered by the receptionist. There were weird noises outside the window and whispers coming from the hallway. Then, she noticed a symbol engraved on the bedroom wall. Feeling uncomfortable, she decided to investigate it further. She searched for information available on the internet, but what she found was not enough to alleviate her anguish. Emily decided to go to the local library to research the town's history. She quickened her pace, as it was already late, and the library would close soon. What Emily found in the library was disturbing. The city had a long and dark history, full of stories of witches, demons, and black magic. The most dreadful find was that the symbol that she saw in her hotel room was described as a crucial element in the rituals that were performed. Anyone would have understood that the obvious thing to do was to get out of that town as soon as possible, but that wasn't Emily's perception. She didn't see that situation as chance. For her, there was a greater purpose in it all. Determined, with almost mystical courage, she decided to go deeper into what she had just discovered. Emily went back to the hotel room and started scouring the place for more clues. That place had an even heavier atmosphere than the other sites where she had been in that city. If there was something there, she was close to revealing it. As she scanned every corner of the room, she found a subtle gap in the floorboards. The boards were loose, and beneath them, there was a hidden compartment. Inside it was an old, but well-preserved book, which was written in a language she didn't recognize. Using a translation app on her phone, Emily began to decipher it. The book contained powerful spells and enchantments, all focused on summoning a demon that could grant wishes. Emily realized with awe that the symbol that was in her room was a representation of a summoning circle. Many uncanny sensations and thoughts invaded Emily. A tempting and, at the same time, terrifying sense of power attempted to dominate her. From that moment on, Emily felt that she had to act quickly. But how? She didn't have enough knowledge to deal with evil forces. Then, her reason seemed to succumb, for instinctively, she began to recite the incantation calling out for the demon. However, in doing so, she realized that she didn't want to make any wishes. Emily had everything she needed in life, and was happy that way. She didn't want to risk losing everything. Suddenly, a sense of purity came through Emily. As if unconsciously guided, she altered the words of the incantation. invoking the demon and ordering him to leave the city to never return. The atmosphere became heavier, and she felt an intense cold hit her body. Out of nowhere, what appeared to be dark, fetid smoke filled the room. A mix of deafening noises, groans, cries and whispers made her barely able to think. In the midst of it all, Emily caught a glimpse of a tall creature, which was darker than all that smoke and was shrouded in shadows. It was terrifying. But then, everything was gone, and the room became absolutely silent. Emily, astonished, remained in her room, unable to sleep. Early in the morning, she decided to leave the city. As she walked through the empty streets, a sense of peace washed over her. She had solved the macabre mystery and was left unharmed. She had been dealing with forces that were unknown to her. Nevertheless, stronger forces protected her in some way that she couldn't quite explain, but for which she was absolutely grateful. As she boarded the train, she felt proud of herself. She didn't look for the easy way out, even though it seemed to be the safest choice. She faced her fears, did what she felt it was the right thing to do, and managed to emerge victorious.